Hello guys, this is Mauro from infotech.com, and on this video I will walk you through all the new features and changes included on Windows 10 version 18.03 or Spring Creators Update. This is the fifth major update that Microsoft is releasing for Windows 10, and it is a continuation of the Fall Creators Update that delivers a new set of features and changes to improve a number of areas of Windows 10, including performance, productivity, and security. There is a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Before we move on, it should be noted that the update is expected to be available starting April 10th, 2018, but remember that it will take time until it reaches every device. There are many ways to upgrade to this new version, so make sure to check the video notes to find the links to the different ways to install Windows 10 version 18.03. In this new update, the Start menu now includes Reveal Highlight, which is a new interactive visualization that brings illumination to display hidden borders and help you navigate and interact with the app. You will see this while hovering over items and the All Apps list and live tiles. Additionally, now right-clicking a Microsoft Store app and selecting the More option, you will now see an option that will take you straight to that setting for that particular app. In addition, now the Documents and Picture buttons will now appear pinned into the left rail. On Action Center, when using the Dark Theme option, the Clear All and Expand and Collapse links now use the current system accent color, and the Clear All text has been replaced for Clear All notifications to make it clear the action of the button. Additional improvements on Action Center includes two-finger touch gesture to dismiss all notifications. If a notification doesn't support being dismissed, the toes will now show an X instead of an arrow, and when writing a response in a notification and you dismiss it by accident, Action Center will now save a draft automatically that you can resume by just opening Action Center and going back to the same notification. In addition, Action Center now uses AM and PM to indicate timestamp when a 12-hour clock format is used rather than just the letter A or P. On version 18.03, the Cortana's notebook is getting redesigned to make the experience easier to use and more responsive with tabs and card-based items. In the new experience, the Organizer tab is where you will find your lists and reminders. On the Manage Skills tab, that's where you will change many of the Cortana settings. Clicking the Edit button will open the new profile page where you can add and edit your favorite places. The places you add will be used to give you traffic updates and let you easily set reminders when you arrive or leave your location. Also, according to Microsoft, the default skill in Cortana's notebook now comes with a set of tips for questions you can ask Cortana to get started. You can either click the suggestion, type it out yourself, or just talk to Cortana and it will pull up the information you requested. Additionally, Cortana now will provide activity suggestions to resume tasks when using Timeline, which is another feature new to the Windows 10 version 18.03 that we're going to demonstrate later in this video. With the Spring Creators Update, Windows 10 also introduces Cortana Collections that combines the list experience, and it is a new feature that allows the assistant to save you time by noticing and remembering things for you, such as recipes, restaurants, books, movies, TV shows you watch, and things you shop online without you having to do a thing. Using Collections, Cortana gathers these things. It will put them into an organized list that you can customize. Also, the feature learns as you use it, which means that items that you don't like may not appear in the future. Also, in order to make Cortana's actions less confusing, instead of appearing in the Cortana app in Action Center, moving forward, all the Cortana proactive content that you may need to take action will only appear in Action Center. With this change, the Cortana app now has more space to provide tips, assistance, and tools to make you more productive. The taskbar in this new version of Windows 10 isn't getting a lot of improvements, but Microsoft is now turning on the acrylic material effect, part of the Fluent Design system. Now let me show you how that looks like. Let me just make the taskbar a little bit bigger, and now we're just going to use this option to change color, and you will see now the new acrylic effect on the taskbar. You will not only find the new acrylic material effect on the taskbar, but you're also going to find it in other parts of the operating system, such as in clock and calendar. Let me show you that. I don't have the clock and calendar turned on, so let me just put that there. And now you can see the acrylic material effect. Also, you're going to see that on volume, input, my people. It is subtle, but you can see the acrylic material effect on the my people experience. And you're also going to see the acrylic material in the share experience. I don't have an update pending to install on my computer, but now the Windows Update icon in the notification area now shows warnings and alerts that requires your action. And when you right click the icon, it will give you access to restart, schedule, or open Windows Update in the Settings app. Also, when you right click the Windows Defender Security Center icon, you will now see new options to do quick scan, update definition, change notifications, and launch the Windows Defender app. In File Explorer, OneDrive will now show a cloud status icon informing you the state of file in that folder. As you can see right here, this indicates that in the folder there are still some files that are only available when there is an internet connection. Let me just delete this. And as you can see, the icon has now changed, indicating that all the files in this folder are saved to my computer and they're also stored in the cloud. If you don't like to see this notification status, you can always go to the folder options, and on the View tab, you can clear the Always Show Availability Status option. Click Apply, click OK, and you will no longer see the icon status. In this new version of Windows 10, you also are going to find a new game bar with a new design, easy to use settings, and a new clock. Now you also have the options to use a light, a dark, or use the current Windows theme color, and buttons to access your captures, turn off the microphone, camera, and you can now also edit the title of your Mixer stream. In this update, you're also going to find a new feature called Nearby Sharing that allows you to share any type of files or web links wirelessly to nearby devices using Bluetooth or Wi-Fi connectivity, similar to Apple's AirDrop feature. The experience comes enabled by default, and you can enable or disable it using the Quick Action button in Action Center, as you can see right here, or using the Share Experiences page in the Settings app, which is located on the System section. Here you can enable or disable the feature. You can decide how you want to share the content to all the devices or just to devices that you own. And you also have the ability to change the default location where all transfers will be saved. In this case, by default is the downloads folder, but you can click the change button and set any other location. So basically, to share files using Nearby Sharing is easy as right-clicking a file and selecting the share option. If you're using the web browser, you can click the share button on the top right, and that will open the share experience. And here you can select the device that you want to share that particular link. Once you select the device, the other computer will pop a notification so the user can accept or deny the transfer. Now let's look at Timeline, which is perhaps one of the biggest features coming with the Spring Creators update. Timeline is an extension of Task View, and it is a feature that allows you to find and resume activities you were working in the past. It could be from a previous activity you were working on your Windows 10 device or another PC, Android or iOS device connected with your Microsoft account. Basically, Timeline enhances Task View, allowing you to pick up where you left off any activity in the last 30 days, as well as activities on apps you're currently running on your computer. You can access Timeline using the new updated Task View button in the taskbar, or using the Windows Tab keyboard shortcut. In the experience, you will find a list of all your running applications at the top, while Timeline activities appear at the bottom, sorted by day with 2 rows of activities. In the case you can't find a particular activity, you can click the See All button to view all the activities for that day organized by hour. In the left, you'll find a scroll bar to scroll between your activities. And at the top, there is a search button to quickly find the activity that you want and pick up where you left off. If you want to remove an activity, Timeline gives you the option to remove them individually from an entire day or from a specific hour. Just right-click the item that you want to remove, and you can click the remove option to remove that particular activity, or you can select the clear all option to clear all the activities for that particular day. On Windows 10 version 18.03, Virtual Desktop is not going away. You can still access the experience within the task view, but now it's located at the top, as you can see right here, and you can click the button to create new desktop and to remove them. You can also control many aspects of Timeline using the Activity History Settings page. By default, you will only see 4 days of activities in your timeline. If you want to see the full 30 days, you must enable the option to sync your activities to the cloud, which also allows the feature to synchronize your activities across devices. Unfortunately, it is not possible to change the amount of days you can see in your timeline. It is either 4 or 30 days. On your timeline, you will see activities for all applications you use on your computer, but you cannot exclude applications. However, you can decide which account activities will appear in your timeline. For example, here, I have only one account, and if I turn this option off, it will stop showing my timeline activities, as you can see right here. But Windows 10 will still be able to collect and show this computer's activities on my other devices. If you want to disable timeline, you need to turn off activity collection, this option right here, and the cloud sync option, this one right here. To refresh the activity history page, jump to another page and come back to activity history. And then under clear activity history, you will now see a new clear button. If you want to clear your leftover activities, just click the button and click OK. It doesn't make much difference, but you can also turn off all the accounts that allow to show activities in your timeline. Here are additional details about Timeline. Timeline is a global feature and is supported on any Windows 10 device that uses a Microsoft account. Timeline also works in a multi-monitor setup, but your timeline will only appear in the screen you invoked it. If you need to resume tasks with an app that you don't have, you will still be able to see the activity, and Windows 10 will assist you to get the app, if available from the Microsoft Store. And that's pretty much how Timeline works on Windows 10 version 18.03. Windows Hello is now easier to set up too. Instead of using the Settings app, you can now configure face, fingerprint, or pin security with a new option available on the lock screen. Under the sign-in options, you will see a button to configure Windows Hello, in this case, to set up a security pin, but the options will be different depending on your hardware. Although Bluetooth pairing isn't a complicated process, starting with version 18.03, Windows 10 will detect when your Bluetooth device is in range and ready to pair, and it will pop a notification like this one with a connect button to quickly complete the setup. On Windows 10 version 18.03, the Settings app is getting an overhaul with a new homepage that includes smaller icons with titles aligned to the right. Sections now feature the acrylic material effect. The home button now uses a house icon, and you will find a lot of tweaks and improvements. In addition, when using the light theme, the reveal effect is more noticeable than before, showing darker borders when hovering items. You will not only see this in the Settings app, but across the operating system. Using the display settings, now it's possible to adjust the brightness for SDR content on HDR displays, but of course you will need to have an HDR monitor in order to see this option. Also, there is a new advanced display settings link that allows you to access more details about your monitor. For example, here you can see your active signal resolution, refresh rate, bit depth, and color format and space. In the advanced scaling settings page, you will now find an option called Let's Windows try to fix apps so they are not blurry, which is an option that allows Windows 10 to fix blurry applications automatically without you having to sign out and sign back in to fix this behavior on scenarios such as when docking or undocking your device or during a remote session. Additionally, Microsoft is adding a new option to override global high DPI settings for classic desktop applications. So now you can just go to the properties for a classic desktop application, and then you will find a new change high DPI settings button, and here you can change the behavior of the DPI setting for that particular app. On the display settings, you will also find a new graphic settings page that includes customization options to manage preferences for apps on computers with multiple GPUs. Using these settings, you can now configure an application to use a specific graphics processor instead of Windows deciding for you. According to Microsoft, this could help to save battery life or improve system performance. You can manage graphics performance for classic desktop apps and Microsoft Store apps. To specify which GPU an app should use, you need to add an app to the list and then change its settings. For example, let me just add a universal app. And then I just go to the options page, and here you have three options. The system default, this is like not changing the settings. Using this default option, Windows 10 will decide for you which GPU an application will be using. Selecting the power setting option will run the application on the GPU that uses the least power. And selecting the high performance option, the application will run in the most capable GPU. Once you make your decision, click the Save button to apply the changes. It is important to note that these settings will always take preference over the settings configured in other control panels. However, in some apps, you may need to change the GPU settings within the app itself. The Sounds page is new to the System section, and it brings the most common sound settings to the Settings app. You can not only control system volume and Microsoft options, but you can also select the input and output devices and troubleshoot problems within this page. So if you have multiple speaker setups, you can select them using this drop-down menu. You can also access the device properties. This will take you to the properties from control panel. And if something is not working correctly, you can click the troubleshoot button to automatically resolve most of the common problems. And the same is for input devices such as microphone. If you have multiple microphones, you can select the default right here. You can also access the device properties, which will take you to the properties from control panel. In the same way, if something is not working correctly, you can click the troubleshoot button to fix most common problems. And you have a visual indicator that tells you if the microphone is working correctly. And you can access the app volume and device preference page to adjust the master volume to change all sounds. You can adjust the volume for specific apps and system sound as percentage of the master volume. So let me just open the group music. So you can see here that you can actually control the volume for apps individually. You can also select the input and output for that particular application. At the bottom of the page, you also have a reset button to go back to the recommended default settings. If this page looks familiar, that's because it looks similar to the volume mixer, which is an old experience, and it might go away now that we have the same settings in this page. Also, you'll notice that the sound icon context menu has been updated to use a modern design, and you can now access the sound settings through this option. Quiet Hours become Focus Assist and now has its own settings page in the System section. And while Focus Assist has been a feature of Windows 10 for a long time, now you have a lot more options. In this page, you will find options to turn off the experience, as well as an option to turn it on with priorities to allow certain notifications to break through your quiet hours. Additionally, there is an option to hide all notifications except for alarms. If you're planning to use Focus Assist with priority only, remember that you can click the Customize Your Priority List link to access the page where you can control your priority list. You can allow or deny call, text, and reminder to break through your quiet hours. You can add contacts and applications. Focus Assist also introduces automatic rules that allows you to select the time and activities when you don't want to be disturbed, and Focus Assist will turn on automatically. The Spring Update includes 3 automatic rules that you can choose and further customize. During these times, you can set a schedule when Focus Assist should turn on automatically. You can turn on and off the option, and you can click the option to get to this page to set the schedule. Then you can also turn on and off when I'm duplicating my display. That turns on Focus Assist automatically when duplicating the screen. For example, when you're giving a presentation, you can also click the option to specify different settings. And finally, you can also enable or disable the option when I'm playing games. That enables Focus Assist automatically when playing games in full screen, but it only works with DirectX exclusive games. Again, you can also click the option and change different settings as well. At the bottom of the page, by default, you also have an option that allows you to show a summary of the notification you missed on Action Center. Alongside the new changes in name, you can now right-click the Action Center button and select Focus Assist to turn on and off the feature in a number of ways, including completely off, priority only, and using the alarms only option. The storage page under Storage Sense now includes a new Free Up Space Note link with direct access to the page to delete temporary files. Also, with this update, you can delete even more temporary files, just like using the Disk Cleanup tool. Also, the main Storage Sense page has been updated with new options and improvements. For example, you can now specify when Storage Sense should run automatically on your device, and under temporary files, you can now select when to delete files that have been in the recycle bin and downloads folder. If you want to disable the option, just select the never option. The multitasking page isn't getting any new major updates, but now it includes an option to enable or disable suggestions in timeline. The Share Experiences page has been updated to accommodate the settings for the new Nearby Sharings feature. Within the page, you can enable or disable the feature, configure permissions, and change the default location to say incoming files. And the About page, also nothing major is going on here, but you can now select and copy your computer name, and there is a link to access system info. The typing page in the devices section now includes an advanced keyboard settings page that allows you to override default input method and switch the input method, and an additional option for the emoji panel. Also, the page now includes options to configure text suggestion and autocorrection of misspelled words as you type using a hardware keyboard. And there is an option to enable multilingual text prediction. This new feature allows Windows 10 to provide suggestions of up to 3 different Latin script languages without having to switch your primary language. However, it is only a feature available for the touch keyboard. The Pen and Windows Ink settings page includes a new option that allows you to change the font that the system uses to convert your handwriting into actual text. The Fonts page is new, and it provides a new experience to manage fonts installed on your computer. The new experience offers a preview of each family font available on your device. Clicking a font will take you to a page with more details about the font, with option to uninstall, preview the size, preview the font, And you will also find metadata information about that particular font. If you're viewing an open type variable font like this one, you can also access more properties to explore the capabilities of the font, such as preview access, details, and variation fonts. Also, starting with version 18.03, you can now download and install new fonts directly from the Microsoft Store. Simply click the Get More Fonts in Microsoft Store, select the font, and click the Get button. Inside the Apps and Features page, you will find some interesting new improvements. For example, the Manage Apps Execution Aliases is a new page that allows you to decide if an app can use its declared alias that you can utilize to start using command prompt. This is particularly useful if you have apps that happen to have the same alias. In the Advanced Settings page for Microsoft Store apps, you can now manage a lot of new options, including the ability to change app permissions and set them as your new default. The Settings app also includes a new Terminate button that you can use to terminate apps and related processes if it is not responding. Of course, the Reset and Uninstall options are still available. In addition, inside of this page, you will also be able to find the version information about a particular app. Also, in the Advanced Options page, you will now find a new Startup Task feature that allows you to manage the tasks from an app that can run on startup. However, this is a feature that is up to the developer to implement, otherwise it won't be available. The startup page is new in the apps section, and it allows you to control which apps are allowed to run a startup instead of having to use Task Manager. And you can also sort apps by name, status, and startup impact. The Data Uses page is getting a number of tweaks in this release, including the ability to see more clearly an overview of the data usage for the last 30 days. In addition, you can set data limit per adapter to help you avoid going over your data plan. And you also get an option to restrict background data to reduce data usage. In the taskbar page, you can now control more options about the My People experience, including the ability to pin more contacts and disable suggestions of apps that you can use to connect to the experience. In addition, the My People experience also includes some new tweaks as well. The experience now uses acrylic material, part of the Fluent Design system. There is a new animation to indicate that a contact is pinned in the overflow list, and the My People experience now uses the current color scheme configured in the color settings. In the Sign In Options page, for a local account, Windows 10 now allows you to set up security questions, As a result of this change, the process to create a new local account has also changed, and now you'll be prompted to set up a security question due to the creation of a new account. If you ever forget your password, just try to log in and click the Reset Password. Answer your security questions, press Enter, and type your new password. In the region and language page, the experience has been updated to show whether a language supports text-to-speech, speech recognition, or handwriting, using a new set of icons at the top right. You can also use the arrows to switch and make a different language you prefer. And more importantly, the experience to install a new language has been redesigned. Starting with this new release, Microsoft is also making Languages Pack through the Microsoft Store, and you can set display language and preferred language individually. In the Spring Creators Update, Ease of Access is getting a number of tweaks to make it easier to use depending on your requirements. The settings now are divided into groups to help you see, hear, and interact with settings more quickly. Microsoft is even making settings easier to understand by renaming options and improving descriptions. Ease of Access brings common screen settings for faster configuration with the new Displays page. For example, on this page, you now have the options to change scaling settings, change brightness, disable system animation, transparency, and keep scroll bars always visible. And there is even an option to control notifications time and disable the desktop background. Cursor and pointer size is a new page where you can find the settings to change the cursor's thickness, change the pointer size and color, and change touch feedback. The magnifier page is not getting new features, but you'll notice that this page no longer includes a list of shortcuts. Instead, the shortcuts will now be displayed under the corresponding settings. The color filters page now includes better description while selecting a new filter, and there is a new color wheel that will help you to get a feel of that filter. Also, this page provides an option to allow you to turn on or off filters. On Windows 10 version 18.3, the narrator's page has been updated with a number of changes and new options. The page now includes an option to allow the use of a keyboard shortcut to start the experience. You can choose to start the narrator automatically as you or anyone signs in to the device. And you will find a new option to sync your settings to the cloud. It is now possible to change the voice volume and change the default audio output, and there is a new emphasis formatted text option that you can use. The change how much content you hear option has been updated to use toggle switches, and you will find a new drop-down menu to select the level of detail narrator uses about text. Under narrator cursor, you will find all these new options that you can use. And under choose narrator key behavior, you can customize narrator keyboard shortcuts by starting narrator and opening the commands section in narrator settings app while narrator is running. The audio page is new and lets you control volume, enable mono audio, and there is even a feature to show audio alerts visually. On Ease of Access, Speech is a new page that allows you to control Windows speech recognition on your PC, and it includes details and settings for dictation, Cortana, and Windows speech recognition. The keyboard page has been updated to include options to disable the keyboard shortcuts for the available features, and you also see updated descriptions, and some of the options have moved from toggle switches to checkboxes. And finally, in the mouse page, some of the options have been moved to the cursor and pointer size page, and the eye control page no longer looks empty. Starting with this new version, the notifications page has been renamed to Cortana across my devices, and there are two additional options. This one allows Cortana to search for activities that you can resume from other devices, and this one allows the assistant to make suggestions and surface related updates about your lists. The speech, inking, and typing page gets a new option to view and clear custom user dictionary, so you no longer have to resource to do this task using workarounds. The diagnostic and feedback page now includes an option to review and delete the data that your device sends to Microsoft to improve the overall experience of Windows 10. In order to review the information, you must enable the Diagnostic Data Viewer option and then click this button to access the app. If you don't have the app already installed, you will be directed to the Microsoft Store to get it. Once in the app, you will find all the telemetry broken down in events using a JSON format. The app provides a search box to find specific data, and you can click the menu button to access filters and other options. Microsoft also collects typing data to improve next word prediction, spelling correction, and autocorrection. However, if you don't want the company collecting your typing data, you can now disable this option, turning off the improved inking and typing recognition toggle switch. Also, if you don't want Microsoft to target you with ads based on your diagnostic data, you can turn off the Tailor Experiences toggle switch. As we saw earlier, the activity history page is new to Windows 10 version 18.3, and it is the place to configure most of the options for timeline. The page includes options to filter account activities. You can prevent Windows 10 from collecting activities on your device or syncing your activities to the cloud. And if something isn't working correctly or you want to remove all the current activities, there is an option to clear your activity history. You will also notice that the privacy section in the Settings app is divided into two sections called Windows Permissions and App Permissions. The documents, pictures, and video pages have been incorporated to let you control which apps can access to your files. Also, moving forward, if an app needs access to your files, you will be prompted to allow or deny this permission. In addition, there is a new file system page to allow or deny apps to access all your files, including those in the documents, pictures, videos, and OneDrive folders. Starting with version 18.03, the delivery optimization page now allows you to limit the download bandwidth that is used for foreground downloads. If you're unfamiliar, foreground downloads are those when you interactively start a download. For example, when you click the Check for Downloads button, or you start downloading an app from the Microsoft Store. In addition, when Windows Update scans, downloads, and install updates on a PC that is connected using AC power, Windows 10 will prevent the device from going to sleep if it isn't in active use for up to 2 hours to give the system a chance to complete the update. The Windows Defender page has now been renamed to Windows Security, and it provides access to different areas of security monitored by Windows Defender. And that's pretty much all that's new with the Settings app on Windows 10 version 18.03, also known as the Spring Creators Update. Starting with version 18.03, the touch keyboard experience is getting the acrylic effect, the new transparent element part of the Fluent Design system. It now supports the standard keyboard layout for all languages, and it expands the shape writing feature previously available only with the one-handed keyboard to the white keyboard. Also, the touch keyboard now supports split layout, and there is a new animation when launching or dismissing the keyboard. The handwriting experience is also receiving a number of tweaks, including improved correction recognition and insertion gesture. Windows 10 incorporates a new gesture so you can automatically commit your text and clear out the text in the handwriting panel. In addition, the gesture to insert space between characters and words now used as a card. For example, you can just use the caret gesture to add a space between letters and the word. Also, the handwriting panel now commits writing at a 90-degree angle. When using the pen, you will find a new embedded handwriting panel designed to handle writing in text boxes. The new experience will appear automatically when tapping a supported text field, including on search and other text boxes. Also, because the panel is based on the handwriting panel, you can use the same functionalities. Here's how the embedded handwriting panel looks like on Windows 10 version 18.03. On eye control, the accessibility technology to control your computer only using your eyes gets a number of improvements. Some of these new changes include the ability to more easily scroll content like emails and websites. You can access the start, timeline, settings, and device calibration quickly from the eye control launchpad. Also, the launchpad includes a new button to pause and prevent accidental clicking. This is how the updated experience looks like if you're using the required hardware. Windows 10 now also updates the run command, so when you hold the Control and Shift keys and press OK or press Enter, the command or app will run elevated. When a process in the taskbar is suspended or has suspended child processes, you will now see an icon indicating that a process or processes are suspended under the status column in the Processes tab. On the Spring Curiosity, the lock screen will now show your screen personalizations, for example, Windows Spotlight, Cortana, Calendar, and Mail, if you don't sign in and wait for a few seconds. Starting with this new version, you will see an updated experience to choose your privacy settings during the installation process. These new changes are aimed to make it easier to select the privacy settings that best suits your needs. And it also offers two new options, including Find My Device and Inking Typing, that allows you to decide whether or not Microsoft should collect this data. However, not everyone will see the same layout during the setup. Some users will have to review their settings using a single screen, as you can see right here, while others will get independent screens to review settings like Find My Device and Inking and Typing. Others will even see individual screens to review each setting. It is important to note that starting with Windows 10 version 18.03, Home Group is getting deprecated, as Microsoft wants users to use modern sharing tools like OneDrive, Share, and Nearby Sharing. Also, this new version introduces the High Efficiency Image File Format, or HEIF, which is an image container that uses modern codec like HEVC to improve quality, compression, and capabilities compared to earlier formats like JPEG, GIF, and PNG. In addition, this file format supports encoding image sequences, image collection, auxiliary images like alpha and maps, live images, video, audio, and HDR for improved contrast. Spring Curiosity also delivers an improved version of Microsoft Edge with an updated Dart theme, that offers improved contrast, darker blacks, icons, and text. A redesigned version of the Hub experience also appears in this update that uses a water interface with a left rail that uses the acrylic effect with buttons to jump between the sections. Which is meant to display more content, making the Hub easier to use. The browser finally includes an option to mute a tab that makes sounds by clicking the speaker icon or right-clicking the tab. The full screen experience has been updated to let you access tabs in a address bar when moving the mouse to the top of the screen. Also, in the printer experience, you will find a new clutter-free printing option that lets you print content without ads. Also, in the settings section, it is now possible to export and clear your book data for those books that you get from the Microsoft Store. Starting with the Spring Creators Update, Microsoft Edge is introducing a new reading experience for EPUB, PDF, and Reading View. The new interface includes floating bars for the tools and seek bar. The new interface supports full screen mode for distraction-free reading. There is a new notes menu to see a list of comments, annotations, and highlights on a particular book or document, which you can click to jump directly to that section. And according to Microsoft, books you purchase from the store will now sync progress, bookmarks, notes, and annotations much faster between devices. Furthermore, when you're reading EPUB books or using Reading View, you can now use the grammar tools, with tools aimed to help you better comprehend text by breaking down words into syllables, highlight nouns, verbs, and adjectives. If you are reading a free EPUB book, you can now save that book to your PC. The web browser now introduces options to save and automatically fill preferred information in forms. You can either use the Manage Form Entries in the advanced settings, to specify information beforehand, or Microsoft Edge will prompt you to save that information as you fill out a new form. In the future, you can simply select the preferred information from a drop-down menu to complete all the related fields. As part of the autofill experience, the browser also automatically fills credit card information when making purchases online. Any card already in your Microsoft account will automatically show when needed. If you're entering the card info for the first time, Edge will prompt you to save that information. And on the settings, there is a new Manage Cards option that allows you to add, remove, or edit cards. And you can also disable the experience altogether. The Microsoft in Private experience now has autofill support for saved passwords, and it also includes support for extensions, but you need to allow the extension to run in private mode manually. Also, starting with the Spring Creators Update, you will see a list of suggested extensions that you can get from the Microsoft Store. Also in navigation, tabs, and action buttons, and across experience you will now find the Reveal Highlight effect, part of the Fluent Design system. Microsoft finally brings support for service workers and push and cache APIs to allow new experiences, such as the ability to view websites and access services online, refresh data in the background, even if Microsoft Edge is closed, and send notifications. In addition, the browser includes its Web Media Extension plugin by default to allow support for open formats. Using a precision touchpad, you can now pinch to zoom or pan in websites with 2 fingers. The EPUB and PDF experiences also include improvements to help users open, load, and navigate books using assistive technology. And the browser now supports EPUB Media Overlay, allowing better customization, such as custom audio and highlighted styles. The favorite bar is also getting updated with an option that allows you to hide the label for a particular favorite instead of hiding the labels for all your favorites. The favorites bar will also appear automatically on new tabs and start at page if you have at least one saved favorite. If you don't like this behavior, you can always right-click the bar and click the hide bar option. Also, you can now click the View Certificate option to see this notification about a particular website. And last but not least, now developers can dock the DevTools to the right. And that's pretty much all that's new with Microsoft Edge for the Windows 10 Spring Creators Update. Windows 10 version 18.03 also introduces changes to the Windows Defender Security Center app. In this new version, the app has an updated homepage that removed the antivirus information and added status and alerts for 2 new areas, including account protection and device security. In the virus and threat protection section, you won't find new features, but the app moves its control folder access settings to a new page called Ransomware Protection, which should help to make clear the function of the feature. The account protection page encourages password users to set up Windows Hello Face, Fingerprint, or PIN for more secure and faster sign-in experience. In addition, devices with dynamic lock will generate alerts to inform users if the feature stops working. If you don't want to get dynamic lock alerts, you can disable notifications from the settings page. In the device and security page, you will find security status and additional security features that you can configure on your device, but the options will depend on your hardware configuration. For example, in this computer, I only have the code isolation option, which in this case will help to prevent attacks from inserting malicious code into high security processes. And those were all the new changes for the Windows Defender Security Center. And that's basically all that's new with Windows 10 version 18.03, which is also known as the Spring Creators Update. Remember that you can also check my article with everything that we look in this video and a number of other small changes. I'll be leaving a link for this article in the video notes, alongside other links for more videos about this update. Remember to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and I just hope this video was informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.